My name is Dr. Henry Covarrubias, as Denise just mentioned, and I am the Dean of Student Services and Special Projects at Imperial Valley College. We appreciate wholeheartedly the opportunity to share critical information today regarding IVC, and I've asked a few of my colleagues to join me in expanding on some of their wonderful programs and services that are geared for successful student outcomes. So with that being said, let's start by reviewing today's presentation logistics and some of the ground rules. So the purpose, so why IVC? Well, we'd like to have a candid conversation with all of you as to why you should join the IVC family. And I've invited a couple of students, some of our premier students, to help me advocate for IVC. We'll also go over some program area descriptions. So we have some wonderful leads, program leads for each of our areas to talk a little bit about their respective areas. And then last but definitely not least, we're going to provide an opportunity for you to answer or to ask questions for us to answer some of those questions. Now, we may not be able to get to all those questions, but we do actually have a system in place to be able to address those questions either immediately or within a 24-hour window. So in terms of the format, so again, panelists will cover some of the critical program information, and the information is specifically focused on students, support services, and options pertaining to, we have district counseling, student equity and achievement, or as we call it, C, CalWorks, EOPS Care, and DSPS. Now, just to remind you, this PowerPoint will be posted on our own website, but this session is also being recorded by ISOE and will be available on their respective site as well, again, for future references. So although the Q&A feature is active at the moment, it is being moderated by ISOE, so you may be asking questions in the Q&A. We may see them, and we'll try to get to those as soon as we can. And again, we're going to try to consolidate some of those questions and then try to answer them in an aggregate as a whole. So we've also provided contact information, IVC contact information for each of today's featured program areas. So please, please, please make sure to reach out to us either via phone or email in order to learn more about how we can partner with you on your educational and career journey at IVC. So next slide, please. So the agenda. So speaking of partners, let me introduce some of our student presenters and program leads featured on today's agenda. And after I kick us off on why you should join, rather, the IVC family. So with me, along with me in my area, is Jorge Silva. He is our 2021 Associated Student Government, or ASG President. We have Jocelyn Aguilar, who's one of our 2021 ASG Senators. We have Trini Arguelles, who's our District Lead / Coordinator for our District Counseling area. Bianca BC is our Associate Dean of Student Equity and Achievement, or C as we call it, and she'll expand on how her program assists students on multiple levels. Lillian Fennell is our CalWorks Counselor Coordinator and will share her program her program's benefits rather. Sergio Pesquera is our EOPS Care Coordinator / Counselor and will spend a couple of minutes highlighting his program's services. And last but definitely not least is Shelley Dansby. She is our DSPS Director and will provide an overview of her respective student services areas. Okay, so now that introductions have been made, let's talk about why IVC. While many of us are aware locally of the immense impact that IVC has on the educational and economic contributions within the Imperial Valley, our reputation has been felt both on a state and national level as well. For example, did you know that IVC is ranked number 16 within Hispanic Outlook magazine's top 100 national list for Hispanic degree attainment? Right? And if that's not enough to convince you, here's some other quick IVC facts that we put together. Right? So most California community colleges have TA teaching courses, whereas the majority of our IVC faculty possess doctorates. IVC is well known throughout California for exemplary leaders in student-centered best practices. So our faculty, our staff, our administrators, and our students as well, we have exemplary student leaders. Right? We're all striving to put IVC on the map, not just within a statewide capacity, but really also within on a national scale. So the Aspen Institute College Excellence Program named IVC as one of the top 150 community colleges in the country, right? So the Aspen Institute is the nation's signature recognition of high achievement and performance among America's community colleges. And IVC was ranked 166 out of 698 community colleges nationwide. And the factors as to how they based this determination, how they ranked us, were strong and improving trends within student outcomes, so student learning, completion rates, employment rates, retention rates as well, and equity, the cost and financing, educational outcomes, and then very, very importantly, our career outcomes, right? So again, don't take my word for it. The student voice at IBC is not only a powerful one, but it's also a truly inspiring and insightful one. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce two of our current ASG members who can provide you their viewpoints regarding the student experience at the college. And again, we have Jorge Silva, who's our current 2021 ASG president, and Jocelyn Aguilar, who is one of our current 2021 ASG senators. Jorge, Jocelyn?
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. My name is Jocelyn, and I'm a freshman here at Imperial Valley College. During my senior year of high school, I was still undecided on my major, so I decided to stay home and attend IVC. I've had a great support from my counselor, Ms. Vanderlinden, who has been guiding me in the process of my transition from high school to college. I also had great support from the Educational Talent Search Program, whom some of you may be familiar with. Some of you, like myself, may have heard things about IVC. For example, I heard I would not be able to get all the classes I needed my first semester. But I was pleasantly surprised because I was able to enroll in all the classes I had planned for. There are programs you could join that could help make your journey smoother, like student support services and extended opportunity program services. I think IVC is a great choice for students like me who want to stay home and save money, and to figure out what major to pick. Although we are in a pandemic, there are clubs and associations you can join. I am currently in ASG, junior senator, like Mr. Our dean said, sorry. And this gives me a chance to learn more about the great opportunities IVC has. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's Jocelyn. She's one of our newest junior senators. She's already starting awesome, and I'm really happy to have her. Who am I? I'm that handsome dude on the right hand picture. My name is Jorge Silva. I'm kidding. My name is Jorge Silva. I'm the current Associated Student Government President. That is what ASG means. And I get it. Picking a college is stressful. Trust me, it is. Those applications, having to do very long essays on, define yourself in 8 pages. Like, it's stressful, it's boring, and it really takes a lot of your energy. But trust me, those are really important, so get to them. That is my first thing. Also, scholarships, again, they are a burden. Write an essay on your favorite food and why, those kinds of questions, which is like, oh my gosh, why? But they're important as well because they help you save money and they help you be more effective. Another thing, now going into IVC, trust me, IVC is the best choice. No matter what anyone tells you, oh, IVC, well, I'm going to UCLA, and I'm going to UC Berkeley, and I'm getting that doesn't matter. What matters is getting your major, getting your degree, good education, and learning things about life. Because being a student in college is not only about learning about your classes. It's about learning who you are as a person and learning better skills. And trust me, IVC is a perfect place for that. Not only is it perfect for that, but it also just offers you all you need. And okay, let's say this. Let's say you really want a bachelor's from UCLA. Well, don't worry. If you transfer from IVC to UCLA and you finalize all you need for your bachelor in UCLA, for example, it will say you got your bachelor from UCLA. So if that's some kind of worry for some reason, you're fine, no worries. And please just trust me, IVC is such a good place. I entered there, and through talent search, I learned of all that is available, and I got involved. I got involved in the IVC Foundation Ambassador Program, which fundraises money for scholarships and also does K-12 tours. I also became part of ASG, Associated Student Government, which is what I'm in right now, as a junior senator, just like Jocelyn, and now I'm president. I also joined Region 10, which is part of the Student Senate for California Community Colleges, and it is the region in which IVC is. I also became very involved in my classes. I became involved in clubs such as SOA, Students Overcoming Adversity, which is for students that are overcoming any adversity from criminal offenses in the past, drug addiction, being previously incarcerated and things like that. I'm none of those, but I did want to support the cause because I believe there were such amazing people. I was a part of SPA, Students for Political Awareness and Action. And so, as you can see, ABC didn't limit me at all. It might not be as fancy and as huge as other like UC campuses, but trust me, it gets the job done really good, and it really saves you a lot of money. Right now, I'm attending IBC with basically no cost at all. And I'm also getting paid through my FAFSA, and I'm getting help through programs such as EOPS, which offers help to students that are low income. And so I'm really good. And when I transfer, I will not have to worry about those first 2 years getting my general ed. I will be good. I'll just be going for my poli-sci major, go to that college, my bachelor's, hopefully go to law school and accomplish my goals. And let me tell you, I am so happy I went to IBC, and I'm still happy I am in IBC. I'm really proud of what I have accomplished and of the awesome people I've met, which is actually many of these panelists. In IBC, we have, for example, a president, our superintendent president, Dr. Garcia. In very few cases, you get a president like that in a college. And trust me, she is one of those. We have someone like that. We have awesome counselors, staff. We have many good faculty. We have a really good ASG as well. We have just so many tools available. And let me just tell you again, if anyone tells you, oh, IBC, why IBC when you can go to here and here? IBC is a good choice, especially right now in COVID. Like, why not go to IBC? If it really doesn't have what you need for your major, that is okay. Or if you really want to go somewhere else for a specific goal, that is also okay. But do not let those rumors that, oh, IBC, no, or your counselor is telling you, oh, but why not go to UCLA instead? Like, it's as good as any other college. It is awesome professors, we have activities, and we have a really good community. And so please, trust me, IBC is a good choice. If it wasn't a good choice, I wouldn't be here talking about it. I'm here coming from my own time because I really wanted to be here and tell you, because no one told me when I was in your shoes. No one told me how great IBC is, and no one told me that IBC is as great as any college there is out there. As long as you have the drive, the dedication, and you are just focused on your goal, no matter where you are, no matter, you're gonna get there. It does not depend on where you are in. It depends on who you are as a person and what drives you. And so with that, I just wanna say, that's why I believe IBC is a good choice. It offers anything any other college does. There are some specifics that, very specifics for some majors that may not be in IBC, but the majority are in IBC. And so please, if you consider joining, just do it. Trust me, it's a really good choice. And if you have any questions for me, please contact me at asgpress@imperial.edu. And I can answer any questions going from classes, how IBC works, or if you just want to talk to someone that is involved, you can talk to me as well. With that, I want to say thank you and best of luck to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you, Jocelyn, for those inspiring words. You know, the student voice is really critical, not just because, you know, we're trying to advocate for IBC, but, you know, it's the student voice that's going to really help solidify whether there's a good fit at the institution. Now, I can say quite confidently that many of us on this Zoom are products of the California Community College system. In fact, many of us here, not myself included, but many of my colleagues are IBC grads as well. So again, it's always the theme should be, right? So stay local, but go far, right? So you can stay locally, achieve your academic, or gain your academic experience at IBC, and prepare yourself for the next phase, which whether it's a transfer outcome or whether it's a career outcome. But anyway, you've heard from a lot of us about why you should join the IBC family. But I want us to be able to share the experiences of some of my colleagues. And so let's hear from some of our program leads regarding specific information within their respective areas that will help you gain a better perspective of the vast services that we provide at IBC. And so first on here we go. Okay, first up is Trini. Trini is our coordinator lead for district counseling. Trini, how are you today?
Hey, doing great. My name is Trini Reyes. I'm a product of Imperial Valley College. I'm from Calexico, graduated from Calexico High School. So yeah, you could do everything here in Imperial Valley. I did. I did my associate's degree, my bachelor's, and my master's degree here in the Imperial Valley. So it is possible. You don't necessarily have to leave the valley. So what I want to talk to you about is district counseling. And that's one of the counseling groups that, that will be able to help you out while you're at IVC. Now, to give you an idea, some of the services that we provide do overlap with other programs, but we try not to what we call double dip or repeat the same services. But every now and then we get students from other programs to come and see us. So what we provide is academic counseling. Now, academic counseling is really important because we provide you a roadmap. You tell us what direction you want to go, we'll show you how to get there in the shortest, fastest way possible. But you know, we meet you halfway. The other halfway, it's up to you. You're the one's going to take the classes. You're the one's going to succeed. You have the power to either speed up the process of taking classes, or you could slow it down depending on how well you do in college. But that responsibility is on you. So our job is to motivate you, to show you a clear roadmap, a clear pathway to get you from point A to point B. Now, we do have students that do not pursue a degree. We have vocational students, students that want to go into, say, for example, an LVM program, or they want to study to be a firefighter. So we provide counseling in that too. We are trained to provide counseling for everything from nursing to vocational counseling, career counseling. We also have, we can also provide personal counseling. But with this, we have to be careful because we could touch on personal counseling as far as maybe financial aid issues, like economic issues at home, maybe personal issues as far as being stressed in class, that the demand is too great for you. What we try to do is develop a balance every semester. Make sure that you're taking the right classes, and make sure that we don't set you up for failure. Meaning that we're going to make sure that you don't jump around as far as your classes. Make sure that you take the course that will prepare you for the following step. Because the last thing we want to do is put you in a class during a very demanding semester. We want you to be successful, and we're going to make sure that you are. But ultimately, after you leave our offices, that choice is yours. Because there are students that just kind of say, well, I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to do this, even though Mr. Ordway said to do this, but I kind of want to take this class. I'm into guitar, or I'm into art, or maybe just because they just want to take a class with a friend or a girlfriend. So there's a lot of things that you could avoid. But we are there to serve you. We are there to be there for you. I guess you could say you're kind of the boss of us. You tell us what you want to do. We provide you a clear picture. It's just a matter of you asking. And one of the problems that I've experienced over the 27 years that I've been a counselor is students that are reluctant to ask questions. Not sure why, but I was one of them. But one of the programs that helped me out when I was in high school was when I was in the Upward Bound program. That really pushed me forward, and especially when I became president of the Upward Bound program, it really pushed me forward. So ask questions about anything, about financial aid, about classes, about teachers. We have that information. We're ready to give it to you. Sometimes we'll provide it to you without you having to ask. Other times, you just have to ask us for it. Elizabeth, is there anything you would like to add? This is Elizabeth Trevino, by the way.
Yes, actually, I did want to add that one of the benefits of attending IVC is that it's very convenient for students to stay living at home and while they attend IVC. Also, the transfer preparation courses that you take at IVC, your first 2 years is equal to the courses at the university. So you're basically at IVC completing your freshman, sophomore year. Then when you transfer, you'll complete junior and senior year at the university of your choice. Also, like Jorge mentioned, it's financial savings. You'll be saving thousands of dollars if you choose to attend IVC. It's also great opportunities for those students that didn't do well in high school to also start and build that basic skills that you need and prepare yourself to transfer to a university of your choice. But IBC was a great choice for me as well. It helped me to prepare me to transfer to the university where I was able to complete my bachelor's and helped me to continue on my education as well with my experience at IBC to pursue my master's degree, which was my ultimate educational goal.
So there's a lot that you could accomplish here at IVC, so welcome aboard when the time comes, and we're there to support you every which way. All you got to do is ask. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Trini. Thank you, Liz, for your insights. Much appreciated. All right, next up, we have Bianca Bisi. Bianca is our Associate Dean for Student Equity and Achievement. How are you today, Bianca?
Great, thanks Dean Covarrubias for introducing me. And that was a great overview that Trini offered. My name is Bianca Bisi. I'm the Interim Associate Dean for Student Equity and Achievement. I've been with the campus since 2016, but I originally started at IVC as a CalWorks kid at the preschool. So a lot of the members who are on this phone call have a lot of history with the campus and a lot of inspirational stories. I am a high school graduate from Imperial High School, class of 2006. So I lifelong Tiger. I did grow up in a pretty impoverished area out in El Centro. So it wasn't within my life pathway or plan to become a dean at age 30. So I didn't attend IVC, but what I did is I went away to school in Los Angeles and out into New Haven, Connecticut on the East Coast and came back to give back to my community. So if you are interested in giving back to the community, Imperial Valley College is one of the best institutions to feel inspired, to focus on equity, and to ensure that students of all different backgrounds and experiences are academically successful. So the priority for our department, Student Equity and Achievement, you might have heard equity as a buzzword given the current political climate and the current events that are going on throughout our country. So what we tend to ensure is that there's a smooth transition from students, whether they're in high school or whether they're outside of high school and it's their first year coming into IVC. We ensure that the transition is smooth, and we assure that we support them through services and activities throughout their stay at IVC to make sure that they either graduate, obtain their certificates, or transfer successfully. So what that looks like is making sure that we focus on the academics and the social support services. So for academic sense, you want to make sure that you get support from our department to assist you with filling out IVC's application and CCC Apply. So if you haven't heard from us yet, we visit high schools virtually now. We used to do it physically. If you haven't heard from us yet, we can assist you with completing your IVC application, CC Apply, can assist you with completing campus's orientation that's online, as well as developing an educational plan and reviewing what that plan is and ensuring you know which steps to take academically. There are some important updates throughout the state, like community colleges in the past used to be hubs for exploration, where you can go in and not just pick your major, you could also take bowling and basket weaving. And while those classes are still available, there are a lot of changes in financial aid. So you want to make sure that you're on track academically and career-wise. You want to make sure you know what major you're going after, what classes entail within that major, and you could complete all of those tasks 1 through 3 with our department. First and foremost, supportive services. Like I mentioned, with my personal experience coming back from so many different hardships and life experiences and being resilient, many of our incoming students experience homelessness, housing insecurity, are formerly incarcerated, or former foster youth, or can't afford food or housing. And I want to assure you that we are, and I can confidently say this because of our team, we are the best community college in the state of California to address those life hardships and barriers that are getting in the way of making college a thing for you, making college possible. We ensure that we provide services and activities that specifically remove barriers. If you haven't heard yet, Governor Newsom just highlighted our town because we're providing tiny homes and RV housing projects for students who are worried about, where to lay their head at night or where to get their next meal from. We also provide food distributions and ensure that we're always uplifting students of color, our Black or African American students, our LGBTQIA+ population, our veterans, and ensuring that each student is treated with dignity, equitable access to academic success, and just an overall smooth transition and journey throughout their time at IVC. So if you are interested in our department and need that support, you could go ahead and visit our website under Student Equity and Achievement and submit a contact request form for support. Thank you, Dr. Covarrubias.
No worries. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you for all that information. Fantastic information. And I can attest to the fact that the Student Equity and Achievement Program at our campus under Bianca's leadership has an exemplary reputation statewide. So thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Lillian Fennell. Lillian serves as our counselor coordinator for CalWorks. How are you today, Lillian?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Good afternoon, Imperial Valley High School students. I just want to also share that I am also a proud former student of Imperial Valley College. Got a great start there, and I'm glad to be back now to be able to serve the students at Imperial Valley College. So the program that I'd like to share with you today is the IVC CalWorks college program. And our program supports student parents who also participate in the CalWorks program through the Imperial County Department of Social Services. So most of the students in our program are referred to us through the County CalWorks program. And there are some eligibility requirements. Generally, you have to, of course, be enrolled at IVC, but you also have to have a child under the age of 18 and meet the eligibility requirements through the County CalWorks program as well. So to give our students a strong start at IVC, we provide some support services such as priority registration and one of the first groups that's usually allowed to register. We provide one-on-one counseling for both career and academic counseling. But I believe that the heart and literally fuel that provides the support that our students need are our wraparound services. Our program can also provide assistance with textbooks, school-related transportation costs, and for our student parents, something that can make or break whether they can complete a semester is childcare services as well. So I just want to close off by letting some students know, some high school students, there's a similar program within our local high schools for student parents that provides similar services to our college program. So if you participate in the Cal Learn program and you plan to attend IVC, I strongly encourage you to continue with the application process when our IVC counselors come to your campus. And then once you graduate from high school, plan to meet with our program as soon as possible before you enroll in classes for the fall semester to take advantage of that priority registration and to get that support, the wraparound support services that'll help, again, reinforce that strong start that you can have within our IVC CalWorks program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you for your leadership with respect to CalWorks. Phenomenal work. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Sergio Pesquera, who is our coordinator counselor for EOPS Care. It's a two-pronged program. Sergio, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Dean Covarrubias, thank you for the introduction. While I am not one of the fortunate few to have graduated from Imperial Valley College, I am a proud representative of Imperial County, hailing from Calexico and representing the mighty Bulldogs. So a shout out to the Bulldogs. Now, I have a question for all of you students, family members, members of the community. We're going to start off with a pop quiz. And the question is, what is the absolute favorite thing for any student, whether it's high school or college? And the answers are just mounting up. So I'm going to read one of the answers here. And you're right if you guessed research. Terrific answer. Research is what we love best as students. I know that's the case. But according to the research, the number one predictive factor in determining if a student will be successful in attaining their college degree, whether that be an associate degree or a bachelor's degree, is persistence, which means you stay the course. What you begin, you see through, you keep registered, you keep working at it, and eventually you culminate with earning your degree. But the secret sauce to persistence, according to the scholarship, is this sense of belonging. So what that means is the more you feel welcome, the more you feel represented, the more you feel at home at the institution you are enrolled in, the higher the chance of you persisting. And now we know that the higher the persistence, the higher the chance that we graduate. So when we talk about feeling at home, there are few ways that we could feel more at home than being literally at home, right? So I encourage you to consider IVC simply because of the sense of community and it being your community. And it is available for you as such. Now, one of the things that is a secret ingredient for creating that sense of belongingness at Imperial Valley College is not only, as you have already heard, the background and the passion of so many of the faculty and staff at the institution, but also the services and the resources that we provide our students. The EOPS care program simply being one of those. But I would be remiss to not identify some of those specific services that we provide to ensure that our students are successful. For students eligible for the program, they are able to register for their courses on the very first day of registration. As our students on the panel could probably attest to, one of the major challenges at IVC, just like most community colleges across the state, is not being successful in the course once you're enrolled. It's registering for the course to begin with. So having access to registering early is certainly a major benefit to consider. We also provide students with book grants, which is additional financial support to defray the costs of textbooks, which are an increasing cost for students. We also offer support as far as transportation services. Currently in our COVID remote modality, this is not one of our major components, but once we return to normalcy, and we hope that happens soon, we will support you by providing transportation assistance in the form of bus passes or covering your college parking pass for those of you who own a car, and this would be helpful. We provide supplies in the form of academic supplies, but we also provide supplies in the form of food and snacks. We want to make sure that if you're taking a morning class, but you also have an evening class, halfway through the day, we don't want you running out of fuel. So those are things that we provide. Individual counseling is a major component of what we do. And in addition to towards the end of your program, providing you with your cap and gown so you can participate in that commencement ceremony. That is also a service that we provide. Lastly, you will see a visual here about the, next slide please, Dr. Singh. You will see a visual here about the eligibility requirements. So I won't go too much into detail at this time, but it is available. If in doubt, I encourage you to apply to our program and we will reach out to you with any follow-up steps. But in closing, we encourage you to consider Imperial Valley College as one of your options in this next important phase of your career.
Awesome, thank you, Sergio. Thank you for that, for those very supportive words, especially as they pertain to the research. And now more than ever, we need to ensure that students are aware that they need to be informed consumers, right? And so they need to have a wealth of information available to them to help them make the best decision, not only for themselves, obviously, but for their families as well. So thank you for that, Sergio. Okay, Last but definitely not least is one of our newest program leads, Shelly Dansby. Shelly serves as our Director of DSPS. How are you today, Shelly? I think you may be muted, Shelly. There she goes. There you go.
Thank you, Dr. Covarrubias, and greetings. Happy Thursday. I'd like to welcome all of our parents and students. I am Shelly Dansby, the DSPS Director here at IVC. And the Disability Support Program and Services, we provide academic support to individuals who have any of the following disabilities: acquired brain injury, Asperger's syndrome, attention deficit disorder, autism, cardiac conditions, chronic pain disorders, chronic illness, deaf or hard of hearing, developmental delays, diabetes, learning disabilities, psychological or mental disabilities, any visual or mobility disabilities, and any other disabilities. So we support a wide range of students who may have any of these disabilities. And so I want to tell you, we welcome you to enroll in our program. Some of the great reasonable accommodations that are offered, number one is priority registration. Priority registration is key because that is pretty much a guarantee that you are going to get the course that you like to enroll in. We have academic advising. You are allowed readers and scribes, interpreters. We also have adaptive computer instruction, test proctoring, also extended time to take your exams. There is alternative media for those within our department. And within learning disabilities, we have testing and accommodations to support that. And we also have referrals to our community, from our community organizations like the Department of Behavioral Health and the DOR department. Now, here at IVC, the DSPS department, we are one, we make it happen, we are family. And I want you to apply now because IVC is the place to be to have all of your academic, career, and personal developmental needs met. We care, we go far and beyond. And so that's why I want you to inquire now. Within our department, our student services technician, Norma Gonzalez, she is waiting to hear from you. I have her email address posted here and her office phone number and her Google Voice number. She is waiting. I've already spoke to her this morning, and so she is waiting for those calls to come in. And myself, I would like to hear from you, just to talk to you and get to know you. My information is listed there with my email address and my cell number. So please take the time to take down this information and reach out and call, because we care and we go far and beyond to support all students. Thank you so much, Dr. Covarrubias.
Thank you, Shelly, for the inspiration, motivation. I think I may just call you later today. Alrighty. As I mentioned, as I prefaced at the beginning of the presentation, here is our contact information. Not for myself included, but most importantly for all of the program leads that you've heard from that chimed in today. This again, PowerPoint will be available on our website, and we'll also make sure that we share this with ICOE so that way we can disseminate as needed. So please make sure that you reach out to us. If you have any question, no question is insignificant, no question is dumb. You need to ask us because you want to be an engaged consumer. You want to ensure that that you guarantee the best and most updated information that you're able to get your hands on. Alrighty, so now you've had an opportunity to hear from many of us as to why you should join the IVC family, right? I think we've spent a considerable amount of time talking to you about the IVC family, and it is a family. But now we'd like to field your questions and provide answers to help you guide you rather towards the best decision for you based on your academic, professional, and personal needs and goals.
Thank you, Dr. Covarrubia, and thank you to the ICO, the IVC rather, team. What a great team, and we loved hearing from all of you. And it's amazing that you guys have all gotten in your segments, and now we have some time for question and answers. So my name is Todd Evangelos, and I work here for the Imperial County Office of Education, and we're hosting these higher ed weeks. We have a university or a college representative at the top of every hour from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. So if you've tuned in right now in anticipation of the financial aid segment, that's going to begin at 2 o'clock. So what we have right now are the team from IVC answering your questions about Imperial Valley College, the local community college here in Imperial County. So you can, at the bottom of your screen, you have a question and answer button. You can click on that and type in your question. And I'm noticing as you are typing them in, since there's such a great team from IVC, they're actually answering them live, typing you the answer. But there's a couple that have come in ahead of time. So Dr. Covarrubias, let me ask you those initially, and then that'll leave people some time to type in their questions a little bit more specifically in the question and answer tab as well. So let me ask you a couple that have come into us ahead of time. One was, and you may have answered this during your presentation, but maybe somebody logged in a little bit late or something. So here's a quick question. What are the requirements to apply to IVC? I'm a high school senior here in Imperial County, and I think I'm interested. When can I start applying to Imperial Valley College?
Sure. So what I'll do in this case, Todd, is I'll defer to my associate, to my colleague, Bianca BC. So the C program actually is entrusted with the matriculation or core services component of what we provide at IVC. So that's a very common question in terms of how you apply to IVC and whether there's help to fill out the application or the process involved in actually applying to the institution. Bianca, did you want to chime in on that one?
Thank you, Dr. Covarrubias, and thank you to the student who asked the question. So our department is very hands-on virtually. I know it sounds a little funny, but if you need assistance in applying, we have our student success specialists available. We actually have a few on the call today who would be able to assist you, walk you through what the exact steps are to apply, and assist you with completing your orientation as well as any follow-ups, like if you needed to receive assistance in obtaining your student ID number, or G number as it's called at IVC. So you can contact our department directly, the Student Equity and Achievement Program, and we would be able to assist you virtually. We are going high school by high school if you're currently enrolled at a high school. If you aren't enrolled at a high school any longer, we still provide the same level of assistance. So feel free to reach out to us, and via visiting our IVC website under Student Equity and Achievement, we'll be able to provide that support to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Bianca.
Great. And so they can maybe drop a question in there and you can give them your contact information, but they would find you on the IVC webpage as well. But I like what I heard is that the IVC team is going to be touring, presumably virtually, all the different high schools here in Imperial County. So if you go to high school here in Imperial County, you'll get another opportunity to speak with some IVC staff in a little bit more detail about applying to IVC, what those requirements are, and when you can start to do that. Another quick question from one of our students was, let me read it here. If you plan to attend IVC and go on to a transfer student to another university, as a transfer student to another university, is there anything particular that you need to do when you apply, or is it just applying like all the other students?
Well, all that said, he'll handle that question since he did provide a very insightful response, but I did want to just preface that, his response to that question in that I myself am a product of a community college here in California. I went to Riverside City College. I did fairly well in high school, but I did need a sort of clean slate, if you will, or start over. And so I attended a community college there in Riverside for 2 years and then transferred to UCLA. So the process works. And one of the beauties of California with respect to community college and the transfer process, and community colleges as a conduit to that 4-year degree, is that many institutions, including at the UC and CSU level, have tag agreements, right? Or so they have TAPs or tags, different acronyms for the same thing, which are guaranteed admission contracts, right? That if you follow a certain set of courses, whether it's the IGETC or follow that a very, very well-defined and very well negotiated articulation plan, you will then have guaranteed admission to a university within that cadre of institutions that are offering it, right? So I know UCLA offers one, Davis, Santa Barbara, I know on the CSU side, Fresno, San Diego State. There are a multitude of institutions that offer these agreements, these arrangements, and we have a very robust transfer center within our counseling area as well. And so we also have counselors within the transfer center respectively that can help you in that process. But at the end of the day, all counselors can also assist you within the scope of transfer admission and what you need to do to prepare yourself for transfer. But Cesar, did you want to add anything to that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
No thunder stolen, Dr. Covarrubias. I was actually fielding some questions. Okay. So if Mr. Evangelos would be so kind to repeat the initial question, if anything further is needed.
Well, I think you had answered it earlier, but the question was, if a student wants to attend IVC, but with the goal of being a transfer student, do they need to do anything particular or special when they apply to IVC?
The highest recommendation, and I did hear Dr. Covarrubias' response, and that is spot on. The highest recommendation is to meet early and often with an advisor counselor, because really the secret ingredient here is being fully knowledgeable of what specific course patterns to follow, what specific courses to take, that the universities that the student may be interested in transferring to are requiring. We know and we consider these courses as major preparation. So when we talk about the transfer process, we talk about three major sets of requirements. Requirements potentially for the major at IVC, requirements for general education, and there's a multiple patterns that could be followed, but also the requirements that specific universities may ask for in addition to the previous two categories, which we know as major prep. So the most important advice and suggestion here is meet with a counselor early and often to ensure that you are on the correct pathway in preparation for your specific transfer goals.
Great, thanks a lot to Mr. Mosqueda. And a couple other questions came in and they were related to the foundation. So Dr. Covarrubia, by the way, I like your foundation polo shirt that you're wearing representing the foundation of the IVC. And IVC's foundation, and I think Jorge, you mentioned that you're a student ambassador in the foundation program. They also manage scholarships. And so I think I know the answer to when scholarships are open and when that window is every year. But maybe if we could have one of the students interject as to, is there a scholarship window at IVC, and would high school seniors right now be available to apply for scholarships for the upcoming school year?
I would, for that information, I would have to check with Monica Rogers from Foundation, but it could be possible. So I will email that, and whoever needs that information, please be sure to email me. I will include my email right now here, and I will get that information for you. So thank you.
Thanks, Jorge. And by the way, speaking of submitting your questions, during this, you can see the question and answer tab on the screen right now. But at the bottom of that on your Zoom, presumably you have a question and answer tab. Feel free to use that right now. We have a number of IVC employees and staff and students who are answering questions live as we speak. So feel free to do that. Also, to let you know, you may have logged in with an anticipation that the financial aid segment is going to begin. That will begin at 2 o'clock. And so stay tuned for that. And financial aid, by the way, is certainly something that we want all students at IVC who are interested in IVC to be aware of. But also financial aid works at any other university and college in the United States. So if you are interested in going to higher education in any form, stay tuned at 2 o'clock for the financial aid discussion. So back to IVC specific, I think there's a couple questions.
Hey Todd, I was just going to interject really quickly when you were talking about scholarship opportunities or funding opportunities, especially alternative funding opportunities. We actually do have a robust program on our campus. It lives within equity. I hate to defer to you again, Bianca, with respect to another question, or another response, but no, we do ahead. Actually, in addition to federal CARES funding, we actually do have We do have a pool of monies available to assist students beyond the scope of what financial aid can provide to them. Bianca, did you want to just quickly just kind of
Sure.
talk a little bit about that?
Sure, and to circle back to the foundation, they typically have the application process for scholarships between March and April, but they're always issuing out new types of scholarships, as well as, you know, ASG with their recent COVID pandemic related scholarship. We also have what's called an equity think tank on our campus that puts together as much funding as we can for emergency situations. There's also a more formal process thanks to the CARES Act funding and just a general validation of what's going on in people's lives during the pandemic. We have a process. So again, if you visit the Student Equity and Achievement portion of our imperial.edu website, there'll be a contact form that you can fill out. Is a button that says request student equity support. You click on it and select emergency funding. And that will give you an opportunity to give a little more information. It'll go directly to my inbox, and we'll be able to evaluate you for any types of emergency funding. It typically funds emergency situations that are severe. For example, students who have been living in their car because they're homeless and their batteries died. And, you know, it's 120 degrees outside. Oh, thank you for sharing it. So this is our website here, our webpage that we keep referring to, the two buttons. Top one is for request for student equity support that has a little mini needs assessment. If you scroll down, Dr. C, thank you so much for showing this. There's a little, like a group of options you could select to let us know what you're going through. And one of them is the emergency funding due to COVID-19 or emergency hardship. So this doesn't guarantee you funding, but it guarantees you screening. So once you are screened, you will receive an answer from our department to let you know that we will or will not be able to alleviate your hardship. So that's just, I want to go too much into it, but there's definitely, also he's going over our request for student technology support. We were lucky enough to partner up with ICOE's BorderLink program. A shout out to Magali, who's been really monumental in assisting us with ensuring students are receiving home internet devices as well as laptops that they loan out from our department and return them after they're done with final exams. Thanks, Dr. C, for going through that.
You're welcome.
Great, thanks guys. Great information. Now, a couple other questions have come in. Some of them relate to some of your more popular programs here at IVC, like nursing program. Some folks have wanted to know in previous questions that they've submitted during the week, and then right here live is along the lines of what's the acceptance rate into the nursing program, and what are some of the requirements? So as a high school student, what can they expect as far as number of years at IVC to apply for the nursing program?
Hey, Trini, do you want to take that one, given that the district has a nursing liaison? I don't know if he's muted or...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, the amount of time that it takes for a student to finish the nursing program depends on their success on finishing the classes that are required to go into the nursing program. But you're looking at an average from anywhere from 2 or 3 years to meet the prerequisites to get into the nursing program. Once you're in the nursing program, it'll take you another 2 years. So it is a lengthy program. It's one of our longest, but there are courses that you need to take. And they also take 2 grade point averages into consideration, which is your general grade point average, but also a science grade point average. So you got to be realistic and ensure that you're that you like science and that you like that you did your research as far as what a nursing career consists of. We get quite a number of students that get into nursing because they romanticize it, but without doing the research. So it's very important that you do the research and find out exactly what it entails. As far as getting into the program, it's the acceptance it depends on your grade point average. The higher the grade point average, the better. It used to be a cap of 20 students per semester, but I think that's gone up to, I think, 25. But now with the COVID closure, I think that's down to 16, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, that's information. And as far as transferring from IVC to San Diego State to complete a bachelor's of nursing, you could do that here locally. You go to San Diego State in Calexico and continue your education there and get a bachelor's degree in nursing.
Wonderful. Thanks, Trini. And thank you to the IVC team. What a great show we had today from the staff out at Imperial Valley College. And it's reflected in the number of students who chimed in today and are still asking questions as we speak. So if you have asked a question so far, feel free to hang on the line a little bit. And if I could talk some of the IVC staff in to kind of stick around for a bit and to answer a couple more of those questions. Essentially, Dr. Covarrubias, a number of the questions are related to, do you have this major and do you have that major? And at a community college, the answer to that is generally yes, but there are specific answers to those, I know. And so if a student wanted to find a specific answer to, do you have this major or that major, what would be the best way for them to find out that information?
The best, well, obviously our website, but the best source of information would be for them to contact us directly. And so they're more than welcome. Obviously with this PowerPoint, we have all of our contact information. Is for them to contact us directly, and then they can engage us in a conversation. They can have a conversation with either a student success specialist, and with Bianca's crew, her specialist and her counselors actually are all doing virtual visits anyway, right? So there's a natural process already embedded within the outreach and onboarding experience. But no, that would be the best way rather is for them to contact us directly. Here we have all our information. We all are answering our phones and checking our emails.
Great. So if you have speaking of phones, if you have a phone, what I would do right now is I'd take a picture of that screen right now, because all of those folks are the folks who have detailed answers about anything related to IVC, obviously, and your educational career, which for Dr. Covarrubias, for over 70% of high school seniors in Imperial County begins at IVC. So when we think about IVC, we think about Imperial County. So thank you guys for chiming in.